Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 39 of Direwolf20's FTB Revelations series. I'm setting up a magma crucible and a fluid transposer, and we're doing some stuffs today. I want you here, you doing that, you doing this, and that. Does that sound cool? I think so. I think that sounds cool. And then we're gonna have a chest that sits on top. Boop. So I'm looking at thorium, and last episode we were playing with NuclearCraft a bit. We were getting situated with some stuff, right? And I decided I wanted to make some helium collectors, and for that we're going to need a lot of thorium, like a lot of thorium. And looking at thorium and you know, also uranium for that matter, right? Among other things, right? We can double this kind of ish, right? So we can throw uranium into a pulverizer and get 2x uranium grit. Seems great, right? Seems fine. Seems like a cool thing to do. And then it occurs to me, what if I could do better? So I start flipping through and I'm like, you know, if I put tectonic petroleum into this, I could triple it. And that's cool. But induction smelting can also triple it, can it? Yeah. Or, you know, if I did blazing pyrotheum, I could quadruple it, and that would be even cooler. Right? That would be super cool, I think. So what if we set this up? All right, I like that plan. I like that plan. A little bit cool. So if we do that, we're gonna either need rich slag or we're gonna need cinnabar, right? So where can I get cinnabar or rich slag from? So rich slag we can get induction smelting a few things, right? There's places to get rich slag from. Cinnabar, on the other hand, there's a sneaky little nifty way to get cinnabar. You can get native cinnabar clusters from Thaumcraft. You can get destabilized redstone ore. You get a chance at that when you pulverize it. You get a little bit from pulverizing gold, which we've been getting a small amount of. But you could also fluid transpose cinnabar ore from Thaumcraft with some gelid cryotheum and get 4 cinnabar per ore. That's a pretty hefty amount, right? How much cinnabar do we have? I said to myself, oh, we have a lot of cinnabar ore. Thank you very much. Whew, I like this plan. Thus, the magma crucible and fluid transposer has been born. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do here, right, is item conduit from the east, extract always active, insert into the top of this dude, and that should be cool. And then we can set up a nice little recipe that says the following, right? So if we want gelid cryotheum, right, so we want cinnabar times 1, right? Gelid cryotheum, we need 200 millibuckets worth, and a magma crucible is 250 per cryotheum, actually. Oh, well, that's cool. I thought it was 100 per. So now I have to think about that a little bit more. So we have to math that out a little bit more. So it's 200 millibuckets. So what I really want is 5 cinnabar to 4 cryotheum, right? Right? 5 cinnabar to 4 cryotheum, right? And making gelid cryotheum is not that big a deal. It's just snowballs, which we have an infinite amount of, and that experience stuff, which we're hoping getting a lot of from our Woot farm. And if we need more at some point, we'll figure that out, right? But for now, it could be a cool approach. So what we're gonna do here is set up this. And boy, are you still a little bit slow. I should kit those dudes up down there. I really should. I should kit those up, especially this one, because this is the slowdown, right? Right? Bada bing, bada boom. That's just going to make that thing run that much faster. Okay? So, gelid cryotheum, 4 of you makes 1,000, right? And then 5 of those would use 1,000. Right? And that should get me 20 cinnabar. So if I set that in there and we stick this in here, what we should get, right, is the cinnabar I don't think can go into a magma crucible. I would hope. I would hope you can't be magma crucible. The redstone furnace, right? No, you can't. So what we're gonna find is if we now request cinnabar, you don't have a cable. That's right. You don't have a cable. You don't have a cable. You know what I would love to have? Ender IO applied energistics cables. Ender IO applied energistics cables, ME conduits. Let's do it with this. Sounds like a good time. Give me a few of them, please. Thank you, sir. All too kind. Cooking, 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 pure fluix crystals. And that's looking pretty good. Because you, sir, can do that and bring this guy online now. So he should have a channel. And now Cinnabar. Ta-da! So if I want 20 Cinnabar, what it's going to do is put 5 Cinnabar ore and 4 Cryotheum dust into this chest, right? And the 4 Cryotheum dust go in there, and the 5 Cinnabar go in here because of the way that works, right? Because I don't think... Yeah, that looks pretty cool to me. And then boom. Sweet. How cool is that? Right? And then you, sir, on the north can be nothing. On the up can be insert. And you can be extract always active, and I like that. Cool. So now you should be extracting the Cinnabar and completing the crafts. Ha ha ho! Now we're on to something cool. I like this. I like this. Sam I am. Alright. So with this setup, which is awesome. Super awesome, right? Now we have a nice and easy way to make lots of Cinnabar. Alright, so then what we're going to set up, is the following. So if we want to do blazing cryotheum, right, uranium, uranium ore, we'll just monitor it like that, right? Because you can this uranium ore also be pulverized in the same way? He can, which is cool, right? So we're going to need blazing pyrotheum and a pyro concentrator, which is an induction smelter upgrade, right? Now this will only work if we have the Cinnabar and the blazing pyrotheum, right? It won't work otherwise. So we don't have to like check to see if we have enough Cinnabar before we try to process it or anything like that. That's probably a good thing. Now, there is fluid setups, right? There is fluid handling in Applied Energistics now. There kind of is. So there's fluid cells, right? That's part of Applied Energistics. ME fluid interface, fluid import and export buses. So what we could set up is like a 1K ME fluid storage cell. So that can hold 1,000 buckets, I think. And up to 5 different types of fluid in a single cell. So that's interesting. Do we want to do that? I don't think all that's necessary, right? I think what I'm just going to do is I'll make another couple thermal machines, right? You guys and you guys. And what we're going to want is another magma crucible, right? So that means another couple of you, another couple of you. I'll just get 4 because I feel like I always need those things. Oh, we don't have any hardened glass? Just give me a bunch. Right? Magma crucible that thing up. Come on, Busta. Don't hold out on me now. That's right. You need the... There we go. So the magma crucible... So what I'm going to do is basically... show up back here again. We're gonna mess around inside this area. Seems cool to me. So what I'm gonna do is set it up such that, yeah, I like this idea. So when I do this, right? When I make the uranium, okay. Let's just do it this way. Okay, are you going to give me ingots or dusts for this? I think it's ingots, right? Yeah, so it immediately turns it into an ingot right away, right? So what I could set up is as follows, right? We can do an induction smelter. What do we need here? Just an Invar gear? Hopefully I have some Invar. I do. Just enough, right? So we could have a magma crucible, right? Configured for this. And then you, like that. Metallurgical flux slot locked. I like the sound of that. Yes. And that, I think, is how we're going to want it, right? So here's what I'm going to set up. You ready? Check out these shenanigans. How are you on channels? You're okay on channels? I think you are. Yeah, you seem pretty cool. All right. So we want a crafting card. Really? With the silicon being missing? Ah, so I should automate that a little bit better. And I can now. I really can. Because I think a manufactory is a 1-to-1, isn't it? Am I crazy about that? Pretty sure it is. So now that we've got sand, we could totally get silicon automated downstairs. That might not be a terrible idea. Right? But in the meantime, just get me my card so I can get back to what I'm making down there. Because, like, in my brain, it's all there, and I want to get it in place before I forget. Right? So an export bus, some blazing pyrotheum, dust. Is my exporter done yet? And my crafting card. Right? So we're going to export bus blazing pyrotheum with a crafting card. Right? And then you're going to have some of you coming down. And then some of this to bridge the gap. And then across. Oh, wrong one. Get off my hotbar. Get out of my inventory. How's that seem? Pretty cool? So you should be doing that, right? We can get you guys power. So now you're making the blazing pyrotheum. Okay. And it's crafting on demand. As needed. Which is cool. And it's export busing that, right? That's cool. Perfect. And then your blazing pyrotheum is being dumped into this guy above. But before that works, let's get ourselves a conversion kit. The reason he's not accepting the fluid yet is because he doesn't have one of these. So we need a nickel plate and signalum gear. Nickel plate. Compactor. I'm assuming you're working on signalum for me? That's right. You have a bunch of crafts going on at once, don't you? Okay. So one of you. One of you. Almost there with the pyrotheum. Hey, come on. I thought you just made a signalum gear. Really? Did we use all our signalum? No, you have one, dude. Stop being silly. And that's your pyro concentrator? Sweet. A couple augments, probably. And then our conversion kit. Okay, so I'm gonna conversion kit you and give you a pyro concentrator, which means you can now accept the blazing pyrotheum coming in from the bottom, which is cool. And then with regards to the flux anodizers, right, we're going to want to... now I'm thinking I might need something different than I originally planned. Actually, yes, I do. So let's actually undo all this. So you go away and you go away. What I want instead is an interface here. Okay. Not doing nothing. Well, actually, yeah, no, I do want you to extract. I want you to have the crafting card and the blazing pyrotheum. Actually, give me like 10 of those. I'm thinking 10's a good number to keep in stock at all times, right? And then we also want Cinnabar in stock at all times. Okay. So that we can put... Actually... Yeah, because we need to connect into both, right? So let's actually make you input on the back. I like that plan. Right? Now your extract color is going to have to be something like blue so that you can insert in blue. Right? So he should be inserting his pyrotheum dust now. In theory. If your extract is always active on blue. There you go. Nice, right? How cool is that? All right. Now, I might need to speed that one up a little bit, but we'll find out. Now, you will also insert on blue. And the only thing he should be allowed to insert is Cinnabar. Because Cinnabar can't be magma crucibled, so it won't go in there. So that's why we don't need to filter it. How cool is that? And now we should be crafting more Cinnabar because we are demanding it over here with a crafting card. Sweet. I like this. I like it all. All right, nice. Okay. Okay. I'm cool with this. Now, what we should now finally do is decide how we're going to get stuff into here. Right? So we could set up, like, blacklists on these and a whitelist on this one. That's a way we could do it. That seems pretty straightforward to me. Right? Because I think we're really only going to want to do uranium and thorium and maybe, like, gold or something else that we're, like, always low on. But most of the ores we don't want to quadruple. Only a few ores we want to quadruple. We want to be, like, conservative with our quadrupling, right? Now, why do you feel like you're being a stinker about something? Oh, cryotheum dust did go into the fluid transposer? All right, cool. Then we have to filter that. On the east, the extract will be filtered to blacklist cryotheum dust. I didn't think he would make his way in there, so that's okay. Now we're cooking. Give me a bunch of those, would you? Tanks, buddy. Alright, and then you should be filling up with Cinnabar. Great. Alright, cool. So now let's get 4 more filters, right? So what I'm thinking is, can I turn you off for a minute? Active with redstone? Actually, I think I probably want you never active, right? Just to be safe. So we get you running again, Quarry. Get to work and find me some gold if you wouldn't mind. Would be nice. Because I want to get gold quadrupled. Because we're always low on gold, right? That's one of those things that we're always low on. Hey, there's gold. Cool. Okay. Perfect. Right? So here on the down, we're going to have an insert blacklist of gold, right? And then we'll also have uranium. Uranium. And thorium. Now, I think these guys actually do affect my radiation a little bit. But, like, not in a way that I'm, like, super dying by holding on to it. But, you know. So you're also going to blacklist these dudes. Okay. You will also filter, blacklist, boop, boop, boop. Whoops. Boop. Okay. And you will also blacklist. Boop, 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 boop. There you go. Okay. And then you will whitelist these 3. Okay. So now what we should find is, with you guys existing here, when we set you back on the up, right? Let's just take these guys out for a minute, right? Always active, it should be the gold goes in here. Perfect, right? And then the gold should never be allowed to go or nothing really will be allowed to go anywhere into here besides gold, uranium, and whatnot. Cool. So then we can also set you to extract always active on green, and that'll pull that stuff out and throw it into here the way it's supposed to go with everything else. I think that's pretty cool, right? Ain't that cool? I think it's cool. Right? And notice how nothing else is going in here, right? This thing is not letting any of these ores into here, which I think is awesome, right? Sweet. Right? So everything else is working the way it was before, but gold is allowed into the induction smelter. So then the final piece of this puzzle would be actually, yeah, I want my uranium and thorium to be added to our exports over here. Yeah, we're gonna need another export bus, aren't we? Actually, I have one on me. Sweet. You with the cabling and channel-wise we're cool. Uranium, uranium, thorium. And I'll just be prepared with the capacity cards. Cool. Now if we come back over here, we should see that thorium is being processed in the induction smelter and quadrupling the ores for me. As well as getting some rich slag, I might add. Which, you know, might be useful later. That's pretty cool. Now, did I have acceleration cards on these dudes? I did. Just one, but I did. I should probably match that here. And that should be much cooler. Nice. Alright, so now we're quadrupling thorium and uranium, and that's awesome. See how my radiation... like, if I have a stack of uranium on me, my radiation, I presume, goes up some, right? Maybe I'm crazy. Thought it was. Oh. Oh, maybe it's the thorium. Yeah, see? Thorium. This uranium? It's only 6 NRADs per tick, so it does only go up a small amount. Okay. If I grabbed all this thorium? Yeah, see, that's going up a bit. It's cool, though, right? Alright, I like it. I like it, I like it. You know? Uranium might be like, the radiation stuff might be a nuisance to deal with, but I'm legit kind of excited to play with it a little bit. Just to see if I enjoy it or not. I mean, it's obviously, you can disable it if you want. Hey, that is a pretty cool ore quadrupling setup, I think. Alright, so now, we should be able to do almost what we need here. A chassis, and we should be cool. Isotope separator. That's the next step in the path to getting the things we need. Cool. So isotope separator, come on, machine chassis, let's go. Craft it up. There you are. Thank you. I was getting impatient, which is not unlike me. So maybe I'll stick my isotope separator here too, because this is kind of my, like, processing corner, right? This is where we're processing things automatically. So, I mean, it makes sense to stick the isotope separator here, I think. Right? So let's get you some power. Alright, so basically what we want to do here now, I'm thinking what we could do, hopefully this works, right? What if I had you insert on blue? Is anything that's in there now going to be allowed in? I think not, right? So if we got uranium, for example, and tossed this in here, actually let's get like... I like how my radiation number is going up as I mess with this a little bit, right? And then we put you away. So you start extracting, right? Beautiful. And let's get, you know, a dozen of each of these going. The speed upgrades are quick and easy to make because they only require redstone and lapis. But the energy upgrades require crushed quartz and pulverized obsidian, so we have to wait for our pulverizer a little bit sometimes. Of which I am impatient to the max. Cool. So what I'm going to do is stick you guys in here. Okay. Now if I set you to extract on green always active, can you... Yes, that's what I want. Awesome. So then that'll automatically process all the thorium. Do. Nice. I like that radiation detector thing. Like, actually, it's really cool to watch. So now all my uranium and thorium, right, are going to get processed. Because realistically, the only thing I can use this for, this uranium, unless I was going to do industrial craft, which I'm not, would probably be to separate it out and do nuclear craft stuff with it, right? So now we're automatically processing our uranium into uranium isotopes, which is cool. You know, that's pretty spiffy. I like that a lot. I think that's cool beans. All right, so that was easy, right? Super easy. And now we're automatically processing uranium and presumably thorium, right? So you're cooking, and I think we're in pretty good shape here, right? The only thing I could maybe do is throw some augments into this dude. Just to speed it up a little bit. I don't know how much power this is going to wind up costing me. Not too bad, 240 RF a tick. I can take that, right? And now with the increased demand for blazing pyrotheum, we might want to upgrade this guy with some augments. Let's get a bunch. Man, I just burned 50 gold. 5 minutes ago, I'm like, man, I don't have a lot of gold. And then I'm like, hey, let's just craft more things than I need and burn a bunch of gold. You know, because that's how Dire rolls. Alright, well that's cool. Alright. Spifferino. Alright, let's come back in a minute then. Alright, so processing my refined uranium was taking a little while longer, so I threw some speed upgrades into this bad boy. So that's looking good. All this stuff is being processed, so that's cool. And I ran my quarry for a little bit because I needed more gold. Because irony. But the long and the short of it is that's looking pretty good, right? I'm going to flip you guys over to here so that we can start processing our thorium before we start processing it, because I want to start making the stuff that I need for my helium collectors, right? So to make this, we're going to need 32 basic plating. And we're going to need 8 blocks of thorium 230, right? So with nuclear craft, there's a lot of different fuels, as you can see. All these different things are types of fuel. It's shenanigans, the different types of fuels that there are. There's quite a bit. In the world, you'll find uranium and thorium. And then running those through reactors will produce different isotopes of different materials. I think this is kind of how it works in the real world. I don't know. I'm not a nuclear physicist. But I think it's based pretty much on real-world physics, right? So long story short, like you burn uranium in your fuel, and there's different types of fuel that you can make. Generally speaking, for most types of fuel, you can combine this into a couple different kinds of ways you can put this stuff together, right? There's low energy and high energy, right? So LEU means low energy uranium, 235 fuel, right? And that's made with 1 of the 235 isotopes and 8 of the 238s, right? Now we get this from the isotope separator. You get mostly 238 and a little bit of 235, right? So when you go to craft your first sets of fuel, LEU 238 or 235 is probably where you're going to be, right? Because that's one little bit of 235 and a lot of 238. That will, when you burn it in the reactor, each type of fuel you make has different attributes. The base processing time is how long it takes to burn if there's only one fuel cell, but if you have multiple fuel cells, it burns that much faster. The amount of power it generates base, and the amount of heat that this fuel generates base, right? So another type of fuel that you can make with uranium, 235 and 238, is HEU 235 fuel. And what you'll notice is the recipe is 235, there's 4 of them instead of just 1, and then there's 5 238s instead of 8 238s, right? Now that generates more base power, so it's 480 versus the 120, so it's 4 times the power, but it's also 6 times the heat. Right, so it's a lot more heat being produced in the high energy uranium, right? And then once you burn that down in your nuclear reactor, it turns into depleted 235, right? And that depleted fuel can be reprocessed in your fuel reprocessor, and it turns into, you get a little bit of your 238 uranium back, which is nice. You also get neptunium, so this is like one of the first iterations of it. You also get plutonium, 239 and 242. And then that neptunium can be combined into low energy neptunium or high energy neptunium. And these guys also have their own attributes, right? Low energy neptunium has, you know, this level, so it's less power and less heat, but it runs longer, right? So it lasts longer, but it generates less power, right? And high energy neptunium is probably similar. Now there's also oxidized versions of these, which basically you infuse them with oxygen, and I think it makes them burn a little bit hotter and generate a little bit more power, is the gist of oxidizing things. So as we get into the nuclear crafting, right, what we're going to want to do is pay attention to how much heat the fuel's generating, how much energy it's generating, and then try and cool the reactor so that it doesn't overheat. With that explanation, one of the things we're working on cooling with is the helium, right? So that's like the last coolant that we're going to need for a nuclear reactor that we're going to build, probably next episode. So let's take a look at our thorium setup right now. So how are we doing thorium? And how are we doing power? Actually, we're doing pretty good on power still. Hooray. With all this processing going on, we're doing pretty good on power. So what we want is to turn our tiny clumps into blocks, and then we'll turn, or into ingots, and then our ingots into blocks. So there's 2 blocks of thorium. We need 8, right? And we're actually getting slightly low on the amount of thorium that we're going to need here. So that's kind of a bummer, because we're pretty much out of thorium ingots, and we're probably out of thorium ore, and then we're going to run out of thorium in pretty much a minute here. Yep, you're definitely burning out. So not a lot of thorium. You know, those tiny clumps, you need a lot of thorium for 230 if you want blocks of it. So that's 5 millibuckets per tick of helium constantly. That let's try making one of those and just see just how slow it is, right? So I don't think this needs power or anything. I think it just sits there, right? Yep, and it fills up liquid helium, right? So it's a little bit slow. So we're gonna want that in a tank, right, of some kind. And then we want to supercool it, right? So there's your helium collector. We've got that covered. That makes helium. So we want a supercooler now? Okay, so we need advanced plating, servo mechanism, magnesium diboride, and a machine chassis, right? So we're going to want some more of these. And a machine chassis, and a servo mechanism, and hard carbon alloy ×2. I don't know that I taught you how to make those yet, did I? I didn't. Let's get those taught real quick. Right, supercooler. So you are a alloy recipe of graphite and diamond. Right, so that's an alloy smelting recipe. And the magnesium diboride is an alloy smelter, a 2 boron and a magnesium. Might as well teach it, right? Okay. So you and magnesium diboride. Did I just... Okay, you're not considered nuclear craft? Or, yeah, you are. Okay, I don't know why you weren't showing up a minute ago, but whatevs. Super cooler. Super cool. All right. Hoth machine. Yes. Because yes. All right. So ultimately what we're going to want is this is going to do that, and then you're going to... Okay, cool. So what if we did this, right? So you're going to make your... helium. Will you auto output to an adjacent? Yes, you do. Sweet. All right. Now, if I remember correctly, it's a lot of helium to turn into liquid helium. It is 8 buckets of helium turns into 25 millibuckets of liquid helium. That is slow. That's why I wanted the next tier of it, right? So it's going to take a long time to make 8 buckets worth for 25 millibuckets. Right? I'm just saying. Now you need power, as it were. Now would you, perchance, could I get you output tank configuration? Top output disabled. Okay. Would you auto output by chance? I don't know if I can get you to auto output. Let's get a thermal. Okay, so now the good news is tick accelerations to the rescue, right? So that's kind of cool. It cheeses it a little bit, but you know. Just a little bit, right? Just a little bit of cheesing. So I don't think you auto output, right? But what I could do is get some pressurized fluid conduit and set you to extract always active. There you go. That works. So 150 millibuckets of liquid helium. That's not too bad. We only need one helium cooler for now. But what I think I'm going to do is just throw some kits in here, right? Just to upgrade this dude a little bit. And then with the thorium that I turned into a block earlier, we can do this and turn it back into tiny clumps. And I think that's cool, right? That's fine. So if we decide that this isn't fast enough at some point in the future, we can do something about it. But for now, I think we'll just let it be, because all I really need is one helium dude, right? So if I want, yeah, for my reactor that I'm planning to build, which is a small one, we only need one helium cooler. So it's only going to take a little while to get 1 bucket's worth. What I'll do is just let this run between episodes and maybe speed it up a little bit. And what we'll do is come back next episode. We'll have enough helium, right? Thanks to tick acceleration. And we'll go from there. For now, Darwell20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time and build a nuclear reactor and hopefully get it running. All right, guys, take it easy.